Welcome, one and all, ladies and gentlemen, to The Late Show. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert, and I'm here to tell you, folks, it has been a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad week for former President, the real Dim Shady. And things just got a little bit more worser. Because today, New York Attorney General Letitia James, who has been investigating the ex-president's business for 3 years, made a big announcement.
I am announcing that today we are filing a lawsuit against Donald Trump for violating the law as part of his efforts to generate profits for himself, his family, and his company.
That sound means the ex-president just hit his 1,000th lawsuit. Johnny. Johnny, tell him what he's won.
Continued freedom! There are no consequences. Cause and effect is a lie. We're nothing but clusters of matter hurtling through an indifferent universe. I'm going to go eat an entire sheet cake on my brand new dinette set from Broy Hill. Broy Hill, God is dead. Back to you, Steve.
Thanks, Johnny. So, what crime did he crime this time? Bank fraud, allegedly. And repeatedly. The president would claim his properties were worth a lot more money than they actually were, so he could use them as collateral for huge loans he desperately needed from banks. And when it comes to faking the numbers, Letitia James isn't. She has the receipts, over 200 of them, including his company claiming that a dozen rent-stabilized apartments were worth more than $49.5 million, when in fact they had been appraised at a combined $750,000. That is 65 times less money. And it's no surprise, the president is known for inflated assets. Bring that up. Bring that up. I'm guessing this press conference got the ex-pres rankled to his cankles, because the one thing that he hates more than anything is people hearing he's not as rich as he claims he is. Case in point, James revealed his property at Mar-a-Lago has a value of $75 million. Not bad. But the ex-president had claimed it was worth $739 million. Well, of course, it's worth less now. The FBI took away all the most resellable documents. So, they did. They enjoyed that. They enjoyed that.
I enjoyed that.
Enjoy the joke. So what exactly is the family looking at in terms of punishment? Well, the Attorney General has asked that a judge revoke the family's business certificate, bar the family from serving as an officer of any business in the state, and a 5-year ban on the family from acquiring real estate or getting business loans from any company in New York. The family would be allowed to have a business, be on the board of a business, do real estate business, get business loans, or rock out to Bachman-Turner overdrives taking care of business. And the girls are trying to look pretty. But that's not all. The Attorney General was also wanting a little payback, literally. She asked for the family to repay $250 million to lenders. Long green, baby.
Payback.
Long duckets.
Payback.
To which the family said, what a coincidence. We have a 300-square-foot studio apartment on Staten Island that's valued at exactly $250 million. Which, we also have a horse. In closing, the Attorney General broke out the rhyming dictionary.
Claiming you have money that you do not have does not amount to the art of the deal. It's the art of the steal.
Okay. Pretty good. It's pretty good, but you gotta wonder, how long did the Attorney General's office work on that one? Art of the squeal? No, wait. Art of congeal. No, art of Shaquille O'Neal. Damn it. Put on a pot of coffee. We're here till we get her. Right. The legal news today isn't all bad for the former president. Some of it is extraordinarily terrible because he's still in big trouble for stealing a bunch of classified documents and using them to prop up the short leg of the Mar-a-Lago waffle station. Here's basically where things stand. Last week, a Florida judge who the former president appointed agreed to help him stall the DOJ by ruling that the classified documents should be reviewed by a special master, specifically Judge Raymond Deary. And if you thought the term special master didn't come off as kinky enough, meet Special Master Deary. Sounds like an S&M grandma. I'm your special master now, Deary. Okay? You crawl into the red room of pain. You crawl. Listen here, worm. Listen here, worm. You crawl into the red room of pain and you lick the tennis balls on the bottom of my walker. Or your orthotics. Yesterday, Judge Deary grew impatient with the former president's lawyers, and here's why. The ex-president has repeatedly made public statements claiming that he had declassified the records, but neither he nor his lawyers ever made those same assertions in court where they could face penalties for lying. The DOJ, on the other hand, says all the documents are classified, pointing to the evidence that the documents all say classified. So the judge straight up asked the ex-president's lawyers, are these declassified? And they said, we can't tell you if those classified documents are classified or declassified, and we can't tell you why we can't tell you, because it's classified. Judge Deary did not go for the whole not gonna answer you thing, saying, you can't have your cake and eat it. Well, hold on. In this case, that's not actually true, because at Mar-a-Lago, as soon as the ex-president finishes his piece of chocolate cake, what does he get?
The most beautiful piece of chocolate cake that you've ever seen.
With all this bad news, the ex-president needs, a little pick-me-up. And apparently, he gets it out on the links, because we just learned from the New York Times' Maggie Haberman that ever since he's been out of office, a rotating cast of aides has been tasked with following him around the golf course and giving him positive reinforcement from Twitter. That is just sad. That is so pathetic. Don't worry about the federal investigation, Mr. President, because looks like @QPatriotLinda845 says you have much stronger arms than President Brandon, #MAGA, #not My Little Mermaid.
Wow, really?
You heard about that. You heard about that Little Mermaid thing, right? Yeah. Speaking of people who flatter the former president, Vladimir Putin. Today, Vlad announced a major escalation in his invasion of Ukraine in a rare address directly to the Russian people. Putin gave his address from what appears to be Russia's basement rec room, where he keeps his collection of used phones from 1987. His big announcement was that Russia was calling up roughly 300,000 reservists, including men and women aged 18 to 60 years old. That might change the energy on the battlefield. I'll attack that hill in a second. I gotta finish today's Wordle. I'm gonna start with aioli. I'm starting with, crave. Damn it. I forgot my CPAP machine. Alexa, set a reminder to get up 3 times to pee. Putin is so desperate for reinforcements, he's resorted to sending volunteers to the front line with little training. You can spot the newbies right away, especially if they're driving a tank. Putin's announcement seems to have really resonated with the Russian people, because right after he spoke, flights leaving Russia sold out. And reportedly, Russian airlines have been ordered to stop selling tickets to Russian men aged 18 to 65. Hello? Hello, Ron DeSantis? I want to go to Martha's Vineyard. I'm Venezuelan. I have a great recipe for empanada. Is potato. Putin's already trying to create Putin's already trying to create his army of the future. Last month, he restored a 1 million ruble award established by Stalin in 1944 for women to give birth to 10 or more children, called the Mother Heroine Award. Because after giving birth to 10 or more children, those mothers are going to want some heroin. But the mobilization was the lighter part of Putin's speech, because he warned those who tried to blackmail us with nuclear weapons should know that the prevailing winds can turn in their direction, adding, "This is not a bluff." First of all, gulp. Second, people who aren't bluffing generally don't say, "This is not a bluff." I want to play cards with that guy, because I think he's already lost a few hands of strip poker. Putin also, sure, Putin, I'm not, love his nipples. Putin. This is the BBC.
Wow.
Putin also announced he has plans to have the Russian-occupied parts of Ukraine hold imminent votes on joining Russia. And don't worry about mail-in ballots, because reportedly, Russian officials would go door to door with the police to encourage people freed from Nazism to vote. Because nothing says free from Nazism like police banging on every door and going, "Open up, it's not the Nazis. Let us in and tell us how happy you are that we've invaded you, or else we're going to give you a high-caliber I voted sticker." We've got a great show for you tonight. My guests are Olivia Wilde and Ukraine's Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba. Stick around, won't you?